What's going on YouTube? It is Repulse back in another video. In today's video, we have a Houston Texans 7-round mock draft. You can see here we have 8 picks in the 7 rounds. Most notably, we have 5 around the top 100. We have Washington's 2nd-round pick on top of our 2nd-round pick, as well as a New York Giants 3rd, I believe, and then a Commanders 4th, which may end up being in the top 100. We don't know yet, because if we go here, you can see they're 6th in the draft without their 2nd or 4th round pick, obviously in the Laramie Tunsil trade. And then, Texans are well equipped in this draft. Also have the Giants, who are 2nd. We have their 3rd round pick. Yeah, we have the 3rd round pick. So yeah, 4 picks on the top 100, 5 really if you want to include the Commanders. And we know Casera likes to move around in the draft, but we're sticking and picking. We're not going to do any trades here. We do have the ability to, but we're not going to in today's video, unless you want to go Davis Mills for something or something like that. But we're going to start the draft to see what is available for us here at pick 18. So Caleb Downs goes 1. That's odd. I guess the Titans and Giants, or well, I guess the Giants would, or yeah, the Giants would trade out their spot for a team that needs a quarterback like the Raiders or the Saints. But the Raiders didn't even go quarterback there. Ty Simpson went first instead of Mendoza or Dante Moore. Someone I could see fall is Jeremiah Love. Very, very good running back. Obviously in the Heisman race, I'd say, at Notre Dame. I think this game against Syracuse, if you want to watch that tape, I think he only had like 13 carries, but he went for 170 or something like that. But yeah, you can see here 1,300 yards, been a very consistent runner the last 2 years, averaging 7 yards carry, around 18 to 17 touchdowns. More attempts this year, just I'd say a better year this year than last year, but very good player there. And we're going to do this realistic. What would the Texans do here at 18? I think if Jeremiah Love does go there and the board doesn't value running back like they may, you can see the Chiefs go for Jeremiah Love. You can see the Vikings go for Jeremiah Love. Ultimately, he does go to the Cardinals, who do need a running back, excuse me, not a linebacker. After James Conner got hurt, we'll see how Trey Benson performs coming back from injury, but he did do something to his meniscus. So we'll see. But tackles that go off the board, Spencer Fano. We know that the Texans desperately need O-line. Um, but how bad do we need it? Francis Mauigoa is here. I think probably the best tape for a tackle in this class is Francis Mauigoa. But I think he moves to guard. I think that's a pretty consensus thought that Francis Mauigoa will move to guard. And do you like Olavega Ione over Francis Mauigoa at guard? That's yet to be seen. That'll be debated, I bet, because I think most of the league will see Francis Mauigoa as a guard. Proctor, too, he could play tackle if you want him to, but definitely has the size. Don't know about the arm length. Definitely need to look into that, but hasn't had his best year, so I don't think the Texans would go for him here. Could we go for a skill position? If Kenyon Sadiq is there, we know that Dalton Schultz is getting older and older. Do we go Kenyon Sadiq, upgrade that tight end position? We know how dynamic of a player he is. That'd be very nice safety option for CJ Stroud there if Kenyon Sadiq was on the board. Do you want to go Caleb Banks, someone that you could see go in this top 10 here? Peter Woods does go in the top 10, someone who hasn't had that great of a year. How much of it is Clemson being bad? We don't know. You can see TJ Parker and Avion Terrell are there as well. Very, very good team. I just don't think it all came together this year for some odd reason. But, these two players, Kenyon Sadiq and Caleb Banks, are something that is intriguing. Caleb Banks had a very, very good 2024. I think he's only played, 3 games this year. Played against LSU, played against Tennessee, played against Florida State in this last game of the season. But yeah, really, really dominant hands, and that's something that's needed for a defensive lineman. Watch the 2024 tape rather than the 25, and I think you'll be a lot more impressed just because there is a lack of tape there for Caleb Banks in this year. But you can see he has been a starter for 3 years, just injured this year, I believe. But last year, very, very dominant player in the interior for Florida there. So, do the Texans want to upgrade on that position? Because we know we have Mara Edwards, Sheldon Rankins, and Togiai, who's been playing very well. But, do you want that true 3-down D lineman that can play on that interior and just, stuff the run alongside Will Anderson and Neil Hunter? Maybe we do, maybe we don't. I'm between Maui Noah, Ione, and Kenyon Sadiq, and I think I'm going to go the fun pick here. I'm going to go Kenyon Sadiq. Dalton Schultz has been great this year. Very, very good. and reliable safety blanket for C.J. Stroud or Davis Mills this year has been um, Dalton Schultz this year. But maybe you want to get more dynamic at the tight end position. We know that Nick Caley loves to have multiple tight ends, and we saw how uh, different the offense looked without Cade Stover, not C.J. Stover. That would be awkward. Without Cade Stover, in comparison to when we have him, the play calling is a lot different, a lot more two tight end sets with Schultz and Cade Stover. So maybe you want to get a third, just ensure that we know Brevin Jordan's injury prone. We don't know if we'll re-sign him at the end of the year. So maybe you want to add another tight end into the mix, and I think Kenyon Sadiq is probably the best tight end prospect since Brock Bowers has been in the draft. So I expect him to go higher than 18, to be honest, because I think teams will value tight end just a little bit with the amount that teams are playing too high. I think security blankets are very, very valuable now, as well as running the ball. So I go Kenyon Sadiq at 18. You could definitely argue that something else should have been picked there. Ione does go at 32, but um, I think you could definitely upgrade the offensive line here at 38 with a very, very good player. You could go Caleb Tiernan. Um, you could go Pregnon, which I think, you know, got one Oregon player in the first round. I think we're going to make it two. I think Emmanuel Pregnon will go in the first round, don't get me wrong. But he's there. We'll just act like Dunker or something like that fell, but Pregnon, very, very good tape this year. Wasn't good at, I believe he was at USC last, or 2 years ago, maybe. Maybe getting to Oregon last year or the year before. Can't remember, but his tape at USC was not good. Moves to Oregon has been very, very good. Beneficiary of playing with a very good quarterback behind him, very good running back, a lot of great skilled position guys. So, how much of that is Oregon, being able to get the ball to their skill position guys with Dante Moore, or how much of it is the offensive line holding up and Emmanuel Pregnon just rapidly improving with a good offensive line around him? Because I think he's been great this year. Um, yeah, really, really good tape this year. I think someone that's gonna fly up the boards because I do think him and uh, Ione are gonna be the two guards that are first picked. Obviously, Malinoa too, if you want to consider him a guard throughout the draft process. He goes to the Cowboys here, but someone I believe will end up being a guard here with our second pick of the second round. Um, you could really go anywhere. You could just go best player available. Uh, you could wait for a Nicholas Singleton or a Katron Allen. We know neither of them are going back to college. CJ Baxter is also a very dynamic playmaker. Justice Haynes, I expect to go back to Michigan. Le'Veon Moss is a very good running back, but there is injury concerns there. Um, but yeah, not the greatest running back class after sorry, Jeremiah Love. Don't even need to scroll up for that, but uh yeah, not the greatest running back class after Jeremiah Love. There is definitely a significant drop off as to last year. Obviously, we knew Genty was that running back one of the class like Jeremiah Love, but there were still very serviceable running backs headed in after that. Just obviously not top tier. Um, if you want to look at the safeties, because we know the Texans do have a little bit of a safety problem, do you want to go back to Oregon with Dylan Tillman or Tinneman? Sorry. Do you want to go AJ Halsey, someone that has had very good tape this year? Not the best his sophomore or freshman year. Can't really remember. 2024 he was also very good. So do you want to do that? Do you want to pair um, Caden Bullock with Kamari Ramsey, someone that been very consistent, had a good game against Michigan. Believe he got an interception in that game. Um, could go Keon Sabb, someone that has been very good for Michigan in the past, just not as good at Alabama as he was at Michigan. Maybe he wasn't the best two transfer. Michael Taff, pretty good safety in there as well. Pretty decent safety class all around. Peyton Bowen, someone that is also very important for Oklahoma there. So you can maybe wait on the safeties if you want. Um, you could strengthen the D line if you'd like to. Um, you could strengthen the linebackers if you want to, in case you're not really a big fan of Toto or EJ Speed's getting older. He's only on a 1 year deal, so he might leave. And then who knows what's going on with Christian Harris at this point. Um, but yeah, I think I might end up going in that direction there. And I will actually be going not Anthony Hill, but someone else that plays in the state of Texas, and that is Torian York. Someone that I believe is going to be a very good Mike linebacker in the league. Um, you just watch his tape at A&M, you can see how good of a player he is. He plays very consistently every single game. You could tell he's a film guru there. Um, yeah, really, really good player. Um, really would like the pick if he does come to the Texans, just because he'd be able to learn from Aziz for a little bit, and then ultimately uh, come into that starting role, or maybe he just starts right away. And we never know. Um, but back up, we are again at pick 66. I don't know why I clicked on QB. I did that by accident. I meant to click on running back. Uh, Everyone's still here. How much do you like Jadarian Price? How much is he a beneficiary of teams not stacking the box when he comes into the game because Jeremiah Lev's not in there? Um, Jonah Coleman, also a good back, been pretty consistent throughout his career. I'd say this was his worst year, but also his toughest schedule with teams being able to stack the interior. But you'd expect him to be better because I don't know if he's in this class, but um, Washington's quarterback, very very dynamic runner. Um, so is Jonah Coleman really the RB2? Is he really not? We don't know. I like Nicholas Singleton. I like Katron Allen. Again, I like Justice Haynes, but I don't think he'll declare. So what do you want to do here in round three? You could definitely look at the D line and, as I said earlier, try to attempt to bolster that interior. You could do that with someone like a Derek Moore, who, very, very good on the edge, but someone that could come into the interior if you want him to. Um, TJ Guy could do the same. I know Michigan have very big edge rushers. Um, I saw Princely Unme for a second, and I was like, no, that's Princeville. Um, but yeah, here in round three, I think I'm gonna bolster the D line or maybe the safety group. And the safety group it is, I think, for me because Tinneman and Halsey both went back-to-back picks there, which kind of screws everything up. Emmanuel McNeil Warren has been very, very good, but just not played that much competition. Was very good in the game against Kentucky, though, as well as good in the game against Washington State. I don't know why his rating was so low. I did enjoy watching him there. Yeah, been very good this season. Don't know how much of it is a lack of competition. Bigger safety, someone that can stack the box if you want him to. Rod Moore, just a history of injuries. You don't know how much he'll truly play when he comes to the NFL. But yeah, I think you take a shot, go with the Toledo guy. Emmanuel McNeil Warren is going to be the pick in the third round here. Headed over into the fourth. Someone that I really like is actually Jacob Rodriguez. I don't know how high he'll go. Um, when's our next pick? 118. I might try to make a little deal here. Go 118 in a sixth from next year to move up to around 109 with the Falcons. Let's see if that goes through. Offer trade. Nope. Okay. What if we give you 231? All right. 118, 231, and a sixth round pick for next year for 109. Because there's someone that I do want there. But we'll go running back. I think I like Nicholas Singleton more than Katron Allen, to be honest. Uh, Maybe the other way around, actually. Um, Singleton's more that speedy guy that has the explosiveness. Is that what Michigan needs? Or not Michigan, the Texans. Sorry, I'm a Michigan fan, and I saw Justice Haynes' logo there. Um, Katron Allen's more the consistent three-down back, which is something that we do need without Joe Mixon. So, um, yeah, maybe we gotta check Katron Allen here. And that's exactly what I'll do. Katron Allen it is, and now at pick 109, Charles Jagusaw is still here. Around like 6'7", yeah, 333. Um, hasn't played this year, but I like this tape from last year, and I do think the Texans could improve on the interior offensive line. Obviously, already got who was it that we picked earlier on? Pregnon, who I think will go in the first round, but you can't have enough offensive line. So Charles Jagusaw it is at pick 109, and then I think we are approaching our second to last or last pick in this draft. We'll see. We have this is our last pick in the draft after trading the last two away. Um, Drew Allers here. That'd be funny. Um, and that actually might be a pick that the Texans consider, considering that maybe that Davis Mills moves on, and becomes a starter next year or something like that. Um, but you know what? I'm going to go Harold Perkins here. Um, Obviously, freshman phenom, who we all thought was going to go in the first round, just hasn't been good the last 2 years. Played a lot of games this year, but um, someone that I think is explosive. Lost it a little bit after injuring his, I think it was his ACL, but definitely some potential there. Or if you want to go potential, you could go Nick Harbor. Um, 6'3", 235, but can fly down the field. And if you want someone that is a deep threat, you could definitely have Nick Harbor in there. Um, you could also move him to tight end if you really want to. Um, was a tight end coming out of high school, just ultimately played wide receiver. Same thing with Deuce Robinson. I think he played tight end his first couple of years. I think he was at USC. But I'm going to stick with what I said earlier. I like the potential of Harold Perkins. I think he's definitely a project that you could um, make into a very good player. I think he's someone that could fly up in draft boards if he does return to college, which he might, considering that Lane Kiffin is now the LSU head coach. But he's here on the board. I'm taking him. Um, so that is my last pick of the draft is Harold Perkins. We'll see um, how PFF rate my draft. Um, and they give a oh, they don't like what I did at all. They gave me a D plus. Let me know what y'all think down below. I don't think this was really that bad of a draft. I don't think Pregnon's the 57th worst player. I think Torian York is definitely a top 50 player. I think Katron Allen, definitely a top 100 player. And none of them were really too big of reaches. But that's the first round there. Um, yeah, really grade my draft because apparently um, BFF doesn't like me. But yeah, let me know what y'all think down below. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. More NFL content will be coming out soon. I think I'll have a first round mock draft out probably the day after you see this video. So yeah, if you did enjoy this video, again, please be sure to like, subscribe. And as always, it's Repulse, and I'm out. Thanks again for watching. Peace.